if it helps somebody, then why not?
Yeah, and that's definitely, we want you to feel comfortable in all facets of sharing that, man, and and really just kind of, going back to what you said, what did he bring you out of,
Uh, man, so much more than just addiction. I mean, addiction. I mean, you guys know, like, addiction is a byproduct of
man? Yeah,
just so
It's
much
a
more. I mean,
it's evil.
yeah, yeah. So my backstory, I guess. You guys know my dad,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? So um, when I was a kid, I mean, dad was on and off drugs and struggling or whatever else. And when I was about 5, he way off the deep end. And
Mm,
from that moment on, he was just in parts of my life, in and out. I'd see him every other weekend for a month, maybe. I'd see him 2 or 3 times, and then wouldn't see him again for 4 or 5 years or whatever it was. And as I got older in life, I swore that because of how that made me feel, that I'd never be a part of that, and it's something I'll never do. And it was driven into me. I mean, I grew up in church. It was driven into me that this was such a terrible thing. It's going to ruin your life if you ever do drugs. And then I was like 15, 16 years old, something like that, and I smoked pot for the first time, and I was like, "You liars!"
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like those commercials. It's like, this is you
yeah,
on drugs.
this is
yeah.
your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, that I had been lied to all my life. And then on top of that, I thought that, okay, my dad is just, weak minded or whatever it is. Like, he just can't control
Yeah,
this aspect of his life. And I mean, just like everybody else who probably thought the same thing, nobody ever woke up and was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go spend all my money on dope and hope I run my family off,
Yeah. Yep.
absolutely.
um, so it just it progressed from there. I went through years of it just smoking pot. Really is all I was doing. I hardly ever drank. I didn't really do a whole lot of other drugs or anything. I mean, I got into psychedelics and stuff as I got into my late teenage years.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, early 20s. I started dabbling with all the LSD and mushrooms and all that, and thought that I was having some kind of experience that other people just didn't understand me.
Yeah,
And what I was realized later on is like, no, you're just 20, man.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
like, that's what you're going through. That's what 20-year-olds deal with. So when I was 22, 23 years old, something like that, I had started like really dabbling into pills and
what kind of pills?
uh, at that point, just really anything.
Just anything?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wasn't. Yeah, I really wasn't.
Adderall and
Yeah,
things like
yeah, it
that.
was a weekend thing. It was like, oh, if we're gonna be, I had started drinking a little bit. If we're gonna be drinking for the ball game, I'd take an Adderall so I
yeah,
could drink more. Or like,
yeah,
For sure.
if we're out at the pool all day hanging out, like, I'm gonna take a Xanax so I don't have to drink as much. Like
yeah,
whatever it was. Um, and I had dabbled with pain pills here and there a little bit, and my brother was not not into any of that at all. He had smoked weed with me several times and things like that, but we got into drugs. He was a health nut, big guy, very healthy, played college ball, and but he trusted me with his life, and I had talked him into several times, like, hey man, just like do this with me. Like, we'll be good, I promise you. Um, he one night mixes the wrong things, and I get a call that he's in an ambulance. They're trying to pump his stomach, bring him back. By the time I make it to the hospital, he's gone.
mm,
Um, so right around that time, I had just barely been dabbling with uh, pain pills, not a whole lot, but I don't know what y'all's drug of choice
yeah,
was,
fentanyl,
but yeah. So
Yes, I
man,
was an alcoholic.
yeah. So, and it's not very different. I mean, really, alcohol kind of gives you the
Alcohol,
same.
cocaine. I was a big upper guy.
Yeah. So I had kidney stones, and I got prescribed some Lortabs, and I had never been so depressed in my life. I
mm,
just remember like getting up in the mornings and being like, I can't go to work today, and just calling out and being like, I can't. Like, I would go spend 4 or 5 days in a row just on the couch, not eating. I mean, my
mm,
brother was my best friend, and I had kidney stones, and I, you know, took these pain pills. And one morning I got up and took the pain pills, and I was like, I feel good. Like I can, get back to
More
work.
energy,
Yep.
mentally, sharper.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And so I thought, yeah, man, this is it. I got it. I'm good. And I thought, I'm gonna, coast on this for a little bit. We'll get through this stage of life, and before I know it, I'll be back to my usual self, and just be smoking pot and taking acid every once in a while, and I'm good. Well, of course, that didn't go as planned. I mean, as we all know, that's a whole demon in itself. And around that time, I had gotten in touch with an old friend of his, my brother's, that had already been deep in addiction, and I still had that prescription of pain medicine. He was like, "Hey, I know somebody we can buy this from," and that's when I got introduced to Oxy. And that was a slippery slope, man, because early on, it was several years back, I was $15 to get me high for a week.
yeah.
And I mean, I'd take a 30 milligram oxy and break it up into 4 pieces and taking one a day, and they were cheap then. And one was never enough later on. And I went through the whole, I remember the first time I was like, yeah, I've been taking this every day for so long. I got to stop. Like, I don't feel good. And then I was like, I got the flu. Like, what's going on with me? And realized I was going through withdrawal for the first time in my life.
Yep.
And that's when I realized I had a problem, and I tried to talk to my wife about it several times, and she didn't understand. I mean, she had never had anything like that in her family, and she was like, in her mind, she's thinking, "Well, just stop. Like just quit." And I mean, you guys know it didn't
Don't work like that.
Yeah, no, not at all. I didn't want to be there any more than she wanted me there. Like it was this is not fun for me either. I just didn't know how to quit. And then it was always the whole, like, the lie was always the same. It's like, well, I'll stop this weekend when I don't have anything to do. I can sit through these withdrawals and I'll be okay. And the weekend comes, and it's like, oh, we got nephew's birthday party or whatever we got to go to. Well, I can't go over here sick. And then Monday comes around, it's like, well, I can't miss work. And it just
fund my addiction. I gotta make it.
Yeah, it was just the same old thing over and over. And then all of that eventually turned into just lying and stealing and selling and just pawning off anything I can. And ended up going to a detox program and thinking that, okay, I'm going to get myself out of this. And it's like a 2-week medicated detox program where they kept me, it was on some kind of blood pressure medicine that clonidine. That was it. Yeah, they kept me on that to keep my withdrawals down. It worked.
The chills and stuff kind of takes all that away.
Mm-hmm. But I was not me, man. I dragged around like I had no energy. I slept for 2 straight weeks, it seemed like. When I came home from that, I was positive, but the problem wasn't that I needed to get off drugs. The problem was that I had some inner stuff that I needed to battle and deal with, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that. I feel like that is addiction in itself, and all kind of
to
other
numb it out.
Yeah, exactly. And really, I used to say all the time too, oh, I'm not like all these other people. I don't need an excuse to get high. I just like getting high, And I didn't know at the time that I had a big hole, and that I'm missing something. So I come back from the detox program and stayed sober for a week, whatever it was, and I thought, all right, well, I'll just dabble again. And then, of course, when you come back from that first little stretch, it gets worse. And I ended up going to the Foundry in 2017, I believe, and I stayed the better part of the year there. And I met a lot of people that found God, but I was like trying to convince myself that I could have the best of both worlds. And I knew from the time I got there, I was like, I just need to get this pain pill thing under control. Like, that's my problem. I can go back out. I can start smoking weed again. I can enjoy tripping acid with my buddies and like go back to just doing the normal easy stuff and not have to fool with all the addiction and spending all my money and pawning this and stealing that. And so about halfway through my stay at the Foundry, I remember waking up one day and just being like, this is just who I am. I'm gonna have to learn to live life as an addict. And again, that's just another lie, man. That
Did you go to the? Sorry, did you go to the farm? Or
Yep,
okay.
yep. I went to the farm, and I loved it. Really, it was a lot of good people. I learned a whole lot of things
Oh
that I
yeah,
apply to my life today as
yeah.
a Christian that I didn't really apply to my life then because I didn't honestly I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And so I come home for Thanksgiving. I think at this time the Foundry was a 9 month to a 1 year
Yeah.
program, and so I come home for Thanksgiving, and I was gonna be going, let's say phase 3. I can't remember whatever the black lanyard was at the time. But whatever it was, I knew that it was Thanksgiving when I came home on pass, and I was supposed to campfire out beginning of January, so I didn't have much time left. Um, and my wife had already been talking about like, I'm ready for you to come home. I had all this sober time behind me. Um, and come Sunday, I knew like I had to be back at a certain time, right? I mean, you guys know how passes go.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
You
you
gotta
get,
be there, buddy.
yep.
There's no wiggle
I've
room.
seen too many people
Yep.
leave, or get back too late.
Mm-hmm.
Pack your bags.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to leave my house. We had to be back at 7 o'clock. I had to leave my house at 5 to be back. Now I've got 8 months of sobriety, and if I didn't leave by 5, I thought all weekend I was like, she's tricking me. I'm going back. She's sending me back. She's just trying to test me. I knew that if I didn't leave by 5 o'clock, that I was staying home, because even if we went back, there wasn't gonna be nobody there. I mean, if I show up at 8, 9 o'clock at night, sorry, bud.
Yeah.
You can wait your 30 days to come back.
Yeah.
And
Pack your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a bag.
Yeah, yeah, and that big black trash bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 o'clock comes and goes, and at 6 o'clock I was high.
Dang.
So, for the next several months, really the next year, man, I just dropped off the deep end, man. I lost my morals, my values. I had no regard for my personal things, just lost respect for people. I went through like 7 or 8 jobs or something in the next year. I mean, it was whatever I could do to, like, all I wanted was to just get a paycheck. I'd get a paycheck from somebody, and then it was like, all right, I don't care if I got to quit this job. I don't care what it costs me, whatever it is. I'm going to, blow this money for the next 2 weeks, and I'll find another job after that. And went through several of that, getting fired several times. And um, 2019, July 2019, we're getting ready to go visit a friend of mine in Georgia. And I'm an electrician, residential electrician. It's my stepdad started a business when I was 12, and I've been in it my whole life. And so I'm going up there to do some electrical work for him. He's going to pay us a little bit of money, kind of give us a little free vacation. He lived up on a lake out there in Georgia. It was going to be a nice little 3 or 4 days. And um, she's cleaning out the car to get ready for the trip, and she pulls a backpack out that is mine, and I didn't have it zipped up, and out fell my papers to where I had pawned the title to my car. And she's, what is this? And I stopped for a minute, and I looked, and I was just like, I can't do this lie any longer. And so I told her what was going on, and she just kind of looked at me, didn't know what to do. She's sick of it. I said, do you want me to leave? She said, yeah, you got to go. And we had just found out a couple days before that we were pregnant with what was supposed to be our firstborn child, and the next day we lost the baby.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that was. I remember being on the way to Georgia and talking to her, and her telling me, and she was like, "I don't want you here. Like, that's like I can't deal with both of these things at the same time." And so she didn't even want me to come back. So for the next 6 months, we spoke very seldom. She had already done everything she needed to do to get a divorce and all of those things. And um, a couple days into it, I'm at my buddy's house in Georgia, and I get there and I tell him what's going on. And he's like, sit it out here, get cleaned up, do whatever you got to do, and we'll we'll get through this. I'm gonna help you get through it, but like, you got to get your crap together, man. Like, you can't stay here. He had a kid and all that stuff. It's like, you can't stay here and still keep living like this. I'm willing to take you in and help you, but like, you got to change.
Yeah.
One night I was laying in bed, down in his basement. I was like, God, it was almost spiteful. I was like, God, I've tried everything. I've tried everything in life. I'm not happy. This is not working. I can't do this anymore. Like, let's try this God thing, right? And I had got up the next morning, and walked upstairs, and I told him, I said, man, it's time for me to go back to Tuscaloosa and face the life I've created. And packed up my stuff and went back. On the way back, actually, I stopped and I bought 2 oxys, and I crushed mine up and stored them. I didn't, eat them, shoot them, whatever. That was how I did it. And um, I did the first one, and immediately, as soon as I set up, I thought, I hate this. I hate this feeling. It was the first time in my life that I didn't just immediately look up and go, all right, I can relax now. It was the exact opposite. And I immediately went and laid down in bed and was like, I gotta sleep this off. I don't want to be like this anymore. And I got up Sunday morning and finished driving back. I had stayed at a buddy's house halfway back. Got up Sunday morning and finished driving back. And my uncle called me, and I told him what was going on. He said, look, I can put you to work. Him and my dad were running the electrical, or stepdad were running the electrical business at the time, together. And he said, I can put you to work, but you have to come to church with me. I said, all right. At the time, we were in 21 days of prayer at Church of the Highlands, Tuscaloosa. That's where I still go to now. And we're actually in the middle of the same thing right now, 21 days of prayer. And it was, I got him. He's like, all right, yeah, you agree? I said, yeah. He said, all right, good. Church is at 6:00 in the morning. I said, okay, well, I'll be there. So he puts me to work, and I go to prayer first couple mornings. Wednesday night comes, and it's just like we call it First Wednesday. It's like worship based, and that night it was uh, the local campus pastor comes up, and he's like, hey, we want to pray for healing over anybody who wants healing. And I bolt down. I'm like, I've been lying about my addiction for years, and I sprint down there, and I'm like, look, man, I'm a drug addict. I'm sick of it. I hate it. Like, I just need this to stop. Like, I want,
help me,
please,
please help me.
And it's just, for the first time, I was like, I don't care who now. I feel like Buddy the Elf on the Elf, where he's like, I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it. I was like, somebody please just stop this madness. And the guy prayed for me. His name was Chris Clark, and he prayed over me. And I remember walking back for the first time and just feeling just free, man. Just like God has lifted this off of me. That was 5 years ago, and been saved and sober ever since then. And over the next 6 months, God restored my marriage.
That's solid, dog.
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah, God restored my marriage, man, and gave us about 6 months later, found out that my wife was pregnant again with our now just crazy 3-year-old, Matthew. He's so smart, and just the kid's brilliant. We named him Matthew because Matthew means God's gift, and felt like that was it was our gift for just obeying God and not giving up, and sticking out through that time. And now we've got little Joey, Joseph Lee Allen. He's named after me and my dad. Our middle name is Lee, and my stepfather, his name is Joseph. So we we kind of mix the two, and like that's our like family legacy that we're going to kind of push on. That's a family name there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, over this next 6 months to a year, and then 5 years, and this is where I'm at today. And I went through Highlands College, graduated from there a couple years ago. I'm really not doing anything in full time like vocational ministry like I thought that I was going to be.
What are you doing now?
I'm an electrician still. Yeah,
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's
still
awesome.
doing that. Really, honestly, I'm probably in one of the most stressful times of my life, man. Which is really just it's tough, man. I've got 6-month-old, 3-year-old kids running around. We're living in a 900 square foot house that is really a blessing to us. God led us to buy some land that took every dollar that we had, every penny we had, really, and it did not make sense to buy the land. There's no power on there. There's no water on there yet. We want to build a house that we cannot afford to build a house. We can't afford to get power and water there yet, and it's just like, all right, God, why have you got us here?
Yeah.
So it's in a challenging part of life. I'm a electrical foreman from a company that's in a growth spurt right now. So it's we're kind of hitting things from all sides, man. We've got we got a smaller amount of employees right now, and we're taking on larger projects so that we can grow, and then we can hire more people and all these different moving parts. And so I'm kind of in the middle of a growth spurt in that, and it's stressful. But my wife had sent me scripture a couple days ago, actually. I was headed into work, and she sent me this. She said, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." It's Galatians 6:9, and that is where we are today.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah.
Man, I just want to encourage you, man. I'll tell you this right here, man. Stress forges a mindset and forges a life that you talked about creating. You want to come back to Tuscaloosa to face the life you created.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're at the point of life, it's stressful because it's that's the good stress. Because you're creating the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
Your dreams are coming to fruition, are part of your getting there.
Yeah.
And there's going to be stress involved in that, man. Period.
Yeah.
God's doesn't.
Yeah, God. Yeah. But like, this is what you prayed for, Chris.
Yeah.
You got this family back. You got an opportunity to buy land.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to negate the stress, because I know it is stressful, Chris. But like, you ain't waking up dope sick.
Yeah, come on.
You ain't blowing through paychecks.
Yep.
Your kids have a roof over the house or a roof over their head. You know, you got a great wife at home.
Yeah.
You just bought some land that's in your name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just part of the growth aspect of it, because muscles grow under stress. But you get bigger and stronger when you stress things that are tough. Yeah, I know those waking up early with kids.
Yeah.
Not when a kid's sick at night, not, waking up and all that stuff, and having to go and put in 10, 12 hours the next day is hot.
Yeah.
And all these things, and the whatever the bills are due this week, and you don't on Friday, but you don't get paid till Monday. I mean, I understand that, man.
Yeah.
And I say we can relate to that. But I'm telling you right now, man, persevere. God's going to honor that.
Yeah.
Because you're doing things the right way.
Yeah.
You're doing you're honoring God, honoring yourself first.
Yeah.
Honoring God, honoring yourself, honoring your wife, and you're honoring your kids. And you're building a life not only for you, but for your wife and your kids that you created through the help of God, man. And I say all that to say, man, I just want to encourage you, bud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to keep going. Not that I necessarily am where you're at in life, but when I say that I have empathy and sympathy for that like, man, attaining your dream sucks at times. There's hard parts of it, man. You know what I mean? And you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what you're going to do next. You don't know how you're going to do it. How are we going to afford this? man, I don't know the law of, I don't know, you can say it's God, I don't know, but when you do the right things and you get up and you take care of what Chris needs to take care of,
Yeah.
things just work out for your best interest. You might not see it right now,
Yeah.
but they do, man. I don't know how that is, and they do. And but again, that pressure, man, is going to make you strong. It's going to make you a better husband.
Yeah.
It's going to make you a better follower of Christ. It's going to make you a better father. It's going to make you a better friend. It's going to make you a better minister.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
because I don't mean to kind of babble on, Chris. I just remember my dad telling me when I was younger. He's like, "Wait till you got a family at home, Chris. And you've been up all night, and the washing machine goes out. You know, the car's broken down.
Yeah.
You know, your wife's mad at you because you've been working. Like, you know, it's everything. You're stressed on everything else like that." He's like, you know, now I look back on it and smile
Mm-hmm.
because that's what forged me into who I am today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You
good.
know?
That's good.
And again, man, I understand, buddy, and I just wanted to. You've been a blessing to Chasing myself for even coming on, man.
Yeah.
You know, when we graduated the other day, man, just coming up and reaching out to us,
Yeah.
like you did. We talked about it, man. That's awesome.
That's what we want.
That's what we wanted. I'm like, man, that's the whole reason we started this, and we started doing this. When we started putting ourselves out there again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you're telling things that I know we feel like we're in a room, but this is about to be put out that anybody can see.
But
Yeah.
this is and that's the thing too, is like kind of going off what he just said, is where we, man, this was a God-given vision. And me and Chris talked about it through the farm, through almost probably 6 months. I mean, literally, like, me and Chris click, boom, we're out just gallivanting the farm, dude, just hitting golf balls.
Doing farm things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and we're just talking, man, and it's like, but this is where me and Chris have, like, really forged ourselves, man. Chris quit his job, and he's working with me now. Like, because we've been talking about stuff that we want to do and how we're trying to put forth the effort. It's hard. We've worked 6 days this week.
Yeah.
Every single day. And then probably would have worked today, but we take these times to do this kind of stuff and things like that. But it's putting that effort and doing hard things, man. It's like where, like he just said, it forges you into something. You're like, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
And you can appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning that now.
Yeah.
And going through the farm, I've learned a lot of things that I'm putting through to myself, man. Like, it's like all these little quirks I've had throughout my life, man. Like, just like, it's not fixing them, it's just reevaluating who I really am.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and doing the things I have to do. Because we are good people.
Yeah.
You know, we are, like, you know, God does have very great things to do in our lives. I know that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why he got you to get that land.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's going to happen, but one day you're going to be sitting on that land and you'll be like, here I am.
Yeah.
Here it is. You know what I mean?
This is what you're trying to do the whole time.
Up to get here, but now I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's hard to see. I know from my perspective, it's like when you're in the midst of, it's like, I'll use this as an analogy. When you're going through withdrawals, like day 3, you can't see the end of it.
No.
Because you're just so miserable in this moment right now. But when you get a month out, 2 months out, 3 months out, 4 months out, you start looking back on it and you're just like, man, like, that taught me a lot about, like, no matter how bad I wanted to get high, you know what I did? I didn't go get high.
Yeah. Yeah.
I reached out for help. It's like, and I take that and I apply it to say my life now is, it sucks when you're in the middle of a day and it's 98 degrees outside and everything's went wrong. Your drill's broke, or I don't know, the plans you got's wrong for this house.
Yeah.
You just ran 500 foot or whatever
Or you
it
put,
is, and you're, you know, the people the contracts before you're supposed to do this, they didn't do, and everything's going wrong. You know what I mean? It's just terrible.
You put cabinets in the wrong place, and you had to tear them out to put them back. That happens. That happened the other day.
But I'm saying those are the moments of like that I have to sit there and like take it. Sometimes you got to look. I want to chunk a hammer through a wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
I want to do something out of character at times. But I look back on that and I'm like, you know what? I didn't give up. It's not like we're getting out of here at 5 o'clock. We're getting out of here when the freaking job's done.
Yeah.
And to me, that's life. Like, I'm not going to stop when it gets hard.
That's where you find yourself.
That's where, like, you really find that you're like, man, you kind of like, I don't know, you're in that hell.
Yeah.
You're really
but I know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
But I know how to get out of it.
I'm not going to give up, man. But, no, that's something that, Chase and I both, man, is really led us to do that. Was when you came up at the Foundry and just said, man, I would love to get on to talk, dude. I'm like, man, this is the reason we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is the reason, because you saw that, you heard about it, and people are, reaching out to us now instead of us always having to
try to find somebody.
Yeah,
scramble.
I'm busy. People are like, no, we'll make time for you now.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, man. I can't tell you, Chris, how happy, because after, like, man, that's awesome that some, people are reaching out to us now. Because at a point in time, me and Chase were like, dude, I don't care if my mom and his aunt watches it.
Yeah. That was not it. It did,
What I mean? Bro. This is what we do now.
Yeah.
If it's just going to be me and you now, dude, and nobody, like I said, it's something that we do, man. And, it's kind of our ministry. Like I was telling them, man, I hate to admit this. Why don't I hate to admit it? Like, I really don't go to church, bro.
Yeah.
But like, this is kind of my way. This is my church in a sense. I get to sit down with cool freaking people, like you, man, to hear your story and really connect with you, man.
Yeah.
And no phones. We're not on a computer. We set this time specifically aside to say, hey, this is what we're going to do.
That's where a lot of people are like, well, why don't y'all do Zoom calls? We're like, no.
Yeah.
We like sitting down with you in person.
I want to see you right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that energy, man.
It's the energy. It's the human connection that I think is very important.
We were meant to be in a relationship with each other, man. That was God's. Always God's plan for us to be in a relationship with each other. And so I think that is amazing what you guys are doing, to be able to sit in a room with somebody and talk, have real, raw conversation.
Real.
I love that. And it's you guys talk about, glad that I come up to you and I was like, you don't know how much of a blessing it is for me when y'all stood up there and talked about this podcast you had. I was like, I looked at my wife and said, I've got to go talk to them. Like, I want so bad to just, I told you I went through Highlands College, and I prayed after I graduated. I thought that I was going to be immediately placed into some church somewhere, or some position, or some kind of ministry, that this was going to be like I was just going to open up my job feed one day, and it was just going to be, there it is, that's where I'm going, and I'm going to get this job, and this is what I'm going to do. And I graduated, and I started praying. I was like, God, show me where you want me to go. And I was okay with moving. I originally didn't want to move. I didn't want to change location. I didn't want to change town, much less state. And then I prayed, and God really worked on me with that. And I was like, okay, all right, God, I'm willing to go wherever you want me to go now. And then I feel like at that moment, that's when God said, okay, I want you to be in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I want you to stay here. And then he started doing things like speaking to us about, buying this land and building lifelong relationships and stuff in Tuscaloosa to kind of plant roots. But the more I prayed about being in ministry and like, God, where do you want me? Like, I want a ministry job, and nothing. I mean, I've looked for jobs. I've not applied to anything ministry related, because I was just like, everything I've prayed about, God's just like, not yet, not yet, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, what? Why did you have me go through this 2-year program that really was extremely stressful for me. I had a new kid, I had a job, and all these different things where I was like, I don't have time to go to school at almost 30 years old, and um, but through all that, like I'm here now, and I feel like this is one of my first opportunities to be able to, on an open platform, say,
Yeah.
hey, like this is my story, and
Yeah.
I want to minister to people. I want to let people know, anybody who's watching this, there is hope, there is joy, there is peace, no matter how much you feel like that, you're at the end of your road. There's nothing left to grasp a hold of, but that this is it for me. I'm done. I'm too old to change. I've made too many bad decisions. I've ruined this. I've ruined that. I can't. I burned too many bridges. That's not the case, man. I was talking to a buddy of mine on the way here, and we were talking about, and actually I had read it this morning too. We were talking about Isaiah 52. If you don't mind, can
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, go ahead.
So I got up this morning and I was praying, and I was like, God, just show me something. Let's see right here. And I called and I talked to my buddy about this on the way here too, and he had given me a good analogy that I really liked. I'm gonna read this. Isaiah 52. It's just verses 1 through 12. It says, Awake, awake, Zion, clothe yourselves with strength. And I absolutely love this. If you think about this from the perspective of somebody who is trapped in addiction, um, God's people they were in captivity and exile at the time from Jerusalem, and there's just a lot of things that were going on that was never God's plan for them. Um, but in spite of the choices that we make in life, and despite of the bad things that happen to us, God always has a plan for us and a purpose, and that doesn't change. He talks about the people who are out in the harvest field, or they were out, working, and the person that comes at 6 o'clock in the morning, the person that comes at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, the person that comes at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever it was, they all got paid the same amount of money. God always had a plan for you and me, and that plan has not changed just because of the fact that I spent 10 years in addiction, or I made this bad choice or that bad choice. God still has a plan for you, and that plan is still attainable, and God still wants to work that in your life. But I read this, and it says, Awake, awake, Zion, clothe yourself with strength, put on your garments of splendor, Jerusalem, the holy city. The uncircumcised and defiled will not enter you again. Shake off your dust, rise up, sit enthroned, Jerusalem. Free yourself from the chains on your neck, daughter Zion, now a captive. For this is what the Lord says, You were sold for nothing, and without money you will be redeemed. We don't need anything other than to ask God, God, redeem me, pull me out of this, right? For this is what the sovereign Lord says, At first my people went down to Egypt to live. Lately Assyria has oppressed them. And now what do I have here, declares the Lord? For my people have been taken away for nothing, and those who rule them mock, declared the Lord. And all day long my name is constantly blasphemed. Therefore my people will know my name. Therefore in the day that they will know that it is I who foretold it, yes it is. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, and who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation, who say to Zion, Your God reigns. Listen, your watchmen lift up their voices. Together they shout for joy. When the Lord returns to Zion, they will see it with their own eyes. Burst into song of joy together, you ruins of Jerusalem, for the Lord has comforted his people and has released them and has redeemed Jerusalem. The Lord will lay bare his holy arm in the sight of all nations and all ends of the earth for salvation of our God. Depart, depart, go out from there. Touch no unclean thing. Come out from it and be pure. You who carry the articles of the Lord's house, but you will not leave in haste or go in flight, for the Lord will go before you. The God of Israel will be your rear guard. To me, that is just like that speaks. Just power, and that like what I gathered from that and thinking from the point of addiction is like God never meant for us to go through this. He didn't want these things to be a part of our life, but through that, um, He can still give us our purpose and do amazing wonders in our life. But the cool thing about it is at the end of that, he says, "You're not going to go in flight. You're not running away with your tail between your legs. These people are not, in fear running out of this place. They're walking away in confidence that God's got their back.
Yeah.
I just think that's pretty powerful. But a buddy of mine, we were talking about that, and he kind of gave me an analogy about giving your kids decisions and stuff like that. But we were talking about how right now I'm dealing with my 3-year-old. He doesn't want to eat anything but just pretzels and goldfish, man.
Yeah.
Dude thinks
That's
he can,
what I love eating.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude thinks he can sustain life on pretzels and goldfish, and we're battling the whole like I don't want to eat dinner, but at 9 o'clock at night I want snacks.
Mm-hmm.
And so where we're at now is, I'm telling him like, look, if you eat your supper and you want pretzels at 9 o'clock at night, I will hand you the bag. But if you don't eat your supper, if you're hungry at 9 o'clock tonight, you can come back and eat the supper. I'll pull it out of the fridge and I'll warm it back up for you. It's here. And you're more than welcome to have it. But you're not getting pretzels. And if you don't want to eat, and it's different if it's turnip greens, right? Like, but you ate pizza yesterday and you liked it,
Yeah.
So, but if not, you're going to bed hungry. Well, I feel like God kind of works like that in our lives. And this is what I was talking with my buddy about. And he said, that food is there. Like it's like God's like, hey, I've got this great plan for you. Like, well, I want to do my own thing. I don't want that. You come back and you want your pretzels. Like God's like, I've got something great for you. I've got your pretzels too, but like, you can't live off of carbs and sodium, man. You got to eat protein. You got to have your pasta and your chicken.
I made
and,
these delicious cows.
Yeah. And so,
and goats, whatever y'all eat. You know what I mean?
But yeah, he's like, you can have your pretzels, but like I need you to eat your meat, right? And the problem is like so many times we walk away from it and we're just like, but I want my pretzels,
Yeah.
But the good thing is that at 8 o'clock when you're hungry, I'll pull that fridge back out. I mean, I'll pull that food out of the fridge and warm it back up for you. Like it's still here.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how God works in our lives. He's like, I know you didn't take it at dinner, and I know that you still want the great things in life, but I didn't throw that plate away.
Yeah.
It's still in the fridge. All you need to do is come back out and say, hey, Dad, I'm still hungry. Can you warm that back up for me?
Yeah.
I'm ready for supper now. So I think that's just a powerful analogy. But,
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. I wanted to ask you about this, Chris, man. Kind of change gears a little bit.
Okay.
Like, what do you do day to day to stay not only sober, but stay engaged? I don't know, for your best self, for the best, I guess, because, and I say that to say this, it's like sometimes I get caught in those negative thoughts of like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this.
Mhm.
It's easy for me to go back to that life I was living, man. And like you're saying earlier, you were had 8 months sober, but boom, you went right back and got high. So how is it different now? I say that to say, how is it different now? What do you think?
Yeah. So a couple things. One, I think relationship with each other, relationship with Jesus, relationship just in general. I think that is huge. Having somebody that you can talk to, you can go to with just problems, with excitement, with whatever it is, just that relationship with people. But also, man, choose your hard. Like it is hard living a normal functioning life.
Yeah.
It is hard living for God. It is hard to like get up and go to work every day. It's hard to do those things, but it is hard to live a life of addiction.
That was one of our episodes.
Oh, really?
Pick your heart.
Yeah, man. I mean, so you guys know
it
is hard. It's all hard. Yeah, none of it's easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to choose your hard, man. I mean, like the difference. to me, anyways, the difference between living a life in drug addiction and living a life in Christ is that one of those offers stability, comfort, peace, and purpose, and the other one offers none of those. Right? So like they're,
Straight
I mean,
dark
exactly,
darkness of
darkness,
yeah,
just
it's
being lost. Yeah,
it's miserable, man. And now I think back, and I'm like, oh god, there's no way I could ever go back to living like that. It just
Mhm.
it, and of course, I'm 5 years on the other side of it. I've had a lot of growth. I've seen God move in a lot of ways, restore a lot of things in my life, and I couldn't imagine going back to that. But my day to day, what that looks like, is just really, man, relationship and leaning on Christ, because I can't do it on my own. I mean, I had somebody tell me one time, if you imagine a three-legged table, like an end table. If you pull any of those three legs away, it falls over. So you've got three legs to that table. You've got spiritual health, physical health, and mental health. If you take two without the other, at some point in time, that table is going to collapse. Right. So with physical health and spiritual health, but no mental health, I mean, not taking care of yourself mentally puts you in a bad spot that's eventually going to collapse the other two. You start to believe lies. You start to believe things that are just I mean, totally 100% false, that like I'm incapable of doing this, or I'm just, all I am is a drug addict that's got some sober time. Right? That's not true. That's not who you are. It's not who you are. It's not who I am. We're not just drug addicts that manage to have a little bit of willpower for a little bit of time. We're created in the likeness of God, and we have a purpose, man. We have a purpose on this earth. Um, and so you start to believe the things that are just not true. And then if on the other side of that, if you don't have your spiritual health, then you can be in the best shape of your life and think mentally, but you still you're missing this, right? And then the same thing on your physical health, man. You don't take care of yourself. You do drugs. You drink and just like treat your body like garbage. And what do you feel like when you wake up in the morning?
not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all, man.
Yeah.
You want to wake up
Like
I'm
buttholes.
yeah, it's
Whole bag
miserable.
of them.
The whole bag of
Miserable.
of things.
Yeah,
But
so
that's why I tell people, man, and I think I said this with Paige the other day, that's why I tell everybody I was an alcoholic. You'll
yeah,
hear me say
yeah,
that a lot.
mm-hmm,
I don't want to be
mm-hmm,
that anymore.
yeah,
So I'm trying to change the narrative, because
yeah,
another guy, like I've said on the other one too, or the last one, there's a guy that said it to me the other day. I was working at his house. And he was like, yeah, I was telling him about what we do. And he's like, and I was like, yeah. He's like, well, what was your DOC? And I was like, I was an alcoholic. And he goes, you are an alcoholic. I was like, no, sir, no, I'm not.
no,
And he's like, well, that's what recovery. I was like, yes, sir. I was like, but a lot of people, I said, people do their recovery in different ways.
mm-hmm,
I'm choosing to call myself, I was an alcoholic.
yeah, yeah,
And that's how I
absolutely,
want to change it, because I'm not anymore.
yeah,
And I don't want to be anymore.
mm-hmm,
So I was.
yeah,
And that's where, in my mind, that's where I have to tell myself,
yeah,
I was an alcoholic, yes. What I learned from it, to not feel like doo doo all the time. You know what I mean? To not do this, to not be that guy, to not. So I was, yes. It was part of my life's journey.
mm-hmm.
I was an alcoholic.
I think it was one of y'all that quoted at graduation the scripture that says that I'm a new creation. Right? Was it one of y'all that?
Dude, I don't remember what I said.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot Micah's name, and I'm sitting there looking at him, and I lost my whole train of thought of it. And I was sitting there looking at the CEO, and I was like,
this guy.
that guy. I was like, everybody. I literally went so mind blank. So I don't know what I said, but
yeah, that scripture, it talks about, if any man is in Christ, he's a new creation, man. The old are gone, old things are gone, all things are new. I am no longer Chris Allen, the drug addict. I am no longer Chris Allen, the thief that stole, little old ladies' pills, right?
Yeah.
I'm no longer Chris Allen, the drug addict that chose any and everything over his family.
Mm-hmm.
I am Chris Allen, redeemed by Jesus Christ, Son of God, to be able to. I'm in the family of Christ that's chosen with a purpose on this earth. I am here now for a reason,
Yeah.
and it's not to pay bills and die.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're here for a purpose, man. And
Yeah.
and you're right, man. Change that narrative because that's not who you are. You're
No.
not Chase the drunkard.
No.
You're Chase, the new man with a purpose, with life. You're Chris, a new man with purpose and life to live that is so much more meaningful than just trying to scrounge up a dollar, man.
Yeah. No doubt.
Sometimes too, man, you know how that goes. That's a miserable way to live.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, we talk about this all the time, Chris. It's like, when I didn't have any money, I wanted to get high. It wasn't a matter if I was going to get high. It was just when I was going to get high.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I take that same hustle, like, mentality and actually just veer it a little bit in sobriety, you know, and say, like, hey, I don't know how we're going to do this. We say this all the time. We're going to sit down. We're going to have to figure this out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, buying the land, like, sometimes you're just like, all right, dude, I don't know. We're just going to sit down and figure this out.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out. I don't know what to do. I don't have no plan on what to do. We're just going to sit down and come up with one.
Yeah.
You know? The best way we know how to do it.
Yeah.
And things do seem to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're 100% right. I remember being in addiction and like pulling up at the gas station with my tank on empty and like 50 cents in my pocket, and like I'd leave there with $100.
Yeah.
Like 15 minutes later, I done convinced somebody that I've got all these crazy things going on, and I just gotta I gotta make it to wherever the fake place is I'm trying to go. Like really, dude, I'm just trying to get just a couple miles up the road, get some dope, and get back to the house. But yeah, you're 100% right. You put forth the mindset to that, and the work and the effort that we put forth in that lifestyle into this lifestyle. I mean, it's
to lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just the whole lie. It was like we could be great actors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How good does that feel to not have to live a lie anymore?
Oh, dude, it's great.
Talk about
it's
the
wonderful
piece of that, man. Just knowing that what you say is
it's true.
You don't have to keep up with bull crap anymore. You're just like,
but I tell them.
Yeah.
People like thinking how to take notes sometimes. Told this to them.
Yeah.
This is where I was, man.
They're like, this. It's like, what?
Yeah. How's your grandma, man? Last time I talked to you, she was sick, and you were trying to get up money to go visit her, and like in Kentucky. I'm like, grandma don't live in Kentucky. She's better.
She wouldn't. She can walk again. Your $100 saved her life. I mean, yeah, dude, it was.
And it's too. I say all that. I know we joke about it, but being able to look somebody in the eye and tell them, and be real with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't know about y'all, but I mean, I don't know. It's not like I had a fear look this way in the eye, but it's just like I felt so bad about myself.
Yeah.
I didn't want to look them in the eye.
Absolutely.
And now being able to look somebody straight in the face and say, look, this is.
Yeah.
You might not like what I got to say.
Yeah.
But this is how.
It's truth.
It's truth, man.
Yep. And that is good.
I don't know, man. It was just being able to do that. And I don't know, man. And being able to, like, when I go see my mom or go see my brother.
Yeah.
To be able to walk in there straight-faced. Not having to look myself in the mirror, give myself a pep talk like, all right, dude, you're sober. Quit closing your eyes so much.
Yeah.
I can walk in there and be able to look my niece, my nephew, all them in the eye, talk to them like I'm talking to you right now. And not go, not being able to, because if I was high, I wouldn't sit down somewhere, I would start doing this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That number. But not having to do that, and that's good, man. That's a good feeling. I can't articulate what that is like, but I can articulate what it's like on the other side of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being an addiction.
Yeah.
You know, and how miserable that is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like going places, man. Like for me too, it's like I can drive anywhere now.
Yeah.
I don't got to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They might get me for speeding or something. Be like, well, sorry.
I'll gladly pass speeding ticket over
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the best
Yeah.
case scenario.
Yeah, like
You know,
it's not gonna be drunk and
taking rid
reckless.
of people's lives.
Yeah, and you know what I mean.
Resisting arrest.
Yeah.
You know, all these things.
But like that's the greatest part about it is like we go out to eat all the time, you know, and it's like, you know, we pop by places and then we leave, and then it's like,
Yeah.
this is great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like even if we stay out a little later, then we should, you know. But I'm driving home,
Mm-hmm.
and I know
Yeah.
by the grace of God, I'm gonna get there safe
Mm-hmm.
as I can. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know what other people, but you gotta look out for those people.
Yeah.
But I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I won't be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and
That's great.
it's a good feeling because you know, and then but when you get sober and you think about those kinds of things, because obviously you know Chris does it a lot, I do it a lot, you probably do too. It's just like thinking about the dumb things you did. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh my god. Like
Man,
I passed by
Why
on
did I think that was
65.
a good idea?
I passed by on 65 going home, like going to Birmingham and going home. I passed by 65 where I got arrested all the time,
Yeah.
literally the spot, and like you know, with my DUI and things like that. Like, thank God I only have one. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
extremely lucky to have gotten out of like you know just one. But I passed by that, and that's embedded in my memory for
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and I know that spot every time I pass it. I
Well-
talk to myself. It's funny. I'm like, and if you look to your left, this is where Chase goes. I do it all the time. It's hilarious. Like, I'm just like,
Oh.
golly. But I'm thankful. I'm never, you know, I won't ever be in that position again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to be. I don't. That's why I wake up every day to make sure I'm not. That I can be a better person. I try, like you said earlier too, man. It's just waking up and like, you know, and striving to be a better you, and like, and doing the hard things that will make it you or
Yeah.
the struggles. But we're not struggling like we were. We're still gonna struggle, and God's gonna test you all the time until you surpass that.
Mhm.
Then He's gonna give you another challenge. They don't stop.
Man, there's growth in that stuff.
Yeah,
It's-
they
it's
don't
growth,
stop.
yeah.
You get past that, everything's wonderful. Well, you better get on your, you know, and ready to hit them brakes again because there's something else coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but that's how you figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
A bigger and better test.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah, man. I think without that, we don't have growth. You know, and life without growth is back to what we were talking about earlier.
Stagnant, man.
It's stagnant. It's paying bills and dying, man. That's not what we were created for. you know?
No.
And to talk about your passing by right there where you got arrested. Like a little encouragement to that is 5 years on the other side of this thing, man. You start to build new memories.
Yeah.
And so when you pass by there one day, you know, and I pray that that you're not ever broke down on the side of the road, but one day you pass by there and you're not gonna go, this is where I got arrested. You're gonna go, man, this is where, you know, I'm in a hurry trying to get to the hospital because my wife's got a baby and I forgot to stop and get gas, and this is where I ran out of gas on the way to see my son born or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
So you know,
Well,
those things kind of start to change.
Yeah, but here's the thing too is like you're right, but at the same time,
you don't want to.
I don't want to forget about
yeah,
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you know, but I do understand what you're saying, but that's when I feel like you get comfortable, and we talk about that all the time. Is don't ever get too comfortable because you can be right back to that spot.
You can be arrested on the
other side.
On the other side of the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to take myself to hell every single day.
Yeah.
Not I say take myself to hell like in the bad sense, but I'm like, look, Chris,
This is where you could be.
This is where you could be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes me, because again, I like sometimes I'll get to the point of like, man, it sucks, man, this is harder than I thought and everything, and just boom, I'll snap. I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is where you could be.
Yeah.
And it's very capable if you get into that mentality and keep going down that road, that this is where you could end up again.
Mm-hmm.
And it like sometimes I'll get sick in my stomach because I'm like, dude, I don't want.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I do not want to be there. Yeah.
This ain't that bad. You know, sitting in Jefferson County Jail, throwing up,
That place
and
sucks.
crapping your pants, everything 13 different times is enough for me. You know,
yeah, it's a whole lot worse than a long day at work.
While somebody's trying to beat you up.
You know, like I'm thirsty and they throw a styrofoam cup in the cell with you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I don't, you can't do like what do you want us to do, buddy? And you got to do. I mean, you know, here's a styrofoam cup, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, if you stop breathing, people come in there. You know, and it's just I was just like, nah, man, and just like I said, the mess that I made. And look, I would be lying to y'all out there and to y'all right there if I say everything's good all the time, because it's not.
No, it's not.
I'm still reaping consequences right now that I did years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, to be honest with y'all, I don't know if I can ever make those quote unquote right again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. But I know this much is that I'll never have a chance to rectify that.
Yeah.
If I go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely.
So it's like, you know, like you're saying, pick. What do you want, Chris? You've had all this stuff. And I hate to babble sometimes. We were talking about this yesterday. Is that you can pick one side and you know it. Like on a Saturday night, for example, I don't want to go out because I've already did all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I enjoy kind of getting.
Why do I want to do that? I've already did that.
Drunk, wake up hungover. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
I get drunk and I wake up hungover.
Yeah.
That's like the best thing that'll happen.
Worst case scenario, you're reliving I-65.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You know? So
Mr. Trooper behind you.
Yeah.
How the hell are you still walking and talking? That's what he told me. He literally looked at me. He's like, "How are you walking and talking right now?" I was like, "I'm an alcoholic."
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Are you
You
recording
should
me?
have seen me at
Are you
Thanksgiving.
recording me? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
0.23. That's it, dude.
Yeah.
You know, that's it, bro.
dang, I can make it home.
Yeah.
No, man, that's stupid. But
It is.
It's
we
like-
do a lot of dumb things, man. You know.
Yeah.
But I think you mentioned last Sunday, Chris, and you don't have to talk about this if you want to, but like maybe you were starting some social media or something like that.
Yeah. So I had shared my testimony for the first time on social media, and my wife and I have kind of been tossing back and forth the idea of doing a podcast ourselves where we're talking about having people on like all different walks of like Christian life. Like, what does it look like? And basically the same question you just asked me earlier. Like, what is your day to day? Like, what does that look like for you? How do you stay on task? How do you stay motivated?
Yeah.
But we want to reach people who are, the 17-year-old boy that's in dealing with, high school girlfriend drama, and then the 37-year-old soccer mom who's doing homeschooling with 5 kids, who's like trying to juggle all these different things. Like, all right, how does your day-to-day walk with God look? What are your highs and lows? And then on the other side of that, the 65-year-old granddad that's retired, that's what does that life look? Try to reach all those different aspects of life, to do the same thing you guys are trying to do.
Yeah.
Reach a group of people that we can give them just content to help get through life. Because, dude, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is not easy. And the older I get, the more I realize, like, I know all my parents were like hard up and stressed out all the time. Like, they didn't know what they were doing either. And my kids are not going to know what they're doing. So the bad thing about media is there's so much garbage out there. But the good thing about it is that there is so much information out there too.
Yeah.
So what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing. And being able to reach people through the internet, through this and for people to be able to watch and go, hey, I deal with that. This is how you're saying you're getting through it. Let me try that. And you never know whose life you're going to change, man. And
That's
so
all we want, man.
yeah,
Even
that's
if
a
it's
beautiful
one.
thing.
If it's one person, man,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I think that we're doing something or doing our best, man. That's all we're trying to do is our best, man.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
And like you said,
Literally.
you asked if we knew how to do any of the videos. Like all this has been learned experience. Like we've had to mess it up. Our sound sucks. The video, the frames.
I had like
focus.
Yeah, I had like 5 different editing apps. I had like all the until I figured out one that worked.
Yeah.
You know, we went through 3, 4 different mics until we found these that work.
We still gotta.
We still have 2 that don't work.
Get to work on the splitter for some reason again, and it's just we're figuring it out, man. And but
that's a process, man. That's life, you know.
Yeah. But we started with his mom's like house we were literally stacking up like his little
my nephew's little blocks.
Yeah,
we stacked them on the chair and set the phone on it.
And set the phone on it and like chair like on the stupid ottoman like.
Yeah. And we had mics, but we didn't have them plugged in.
We didn't have them plugged in.
Like we were talking to the mics.
People would hit me up. It was like, "Hey man, y'all need to figure out his mics. It sounds like it's going through the phone." I was like, "Oh, yeah, we'll figure it out."
Yeah.
Like he's on the floor,
that is
bro.
great.
You know.
Yeah, man, that speaks volumes, though. I mean, that's motivation, dedication. That is. We see there's people out there hurting. There's people that like need help, man. And even if we got to stretch a cord out that's just stuck under a rug to help these people out, that's what we're gonna do, man. So like, more power to you guys, man. What you're doing is awesome. It's
a microcosm. I don't mean to cut you off, Chris, but it's like you don't have to have it figured out to start today.
No. Come on,
you don't have to know everything to start now. You don't have to have this fancy equipment for this. You don't have to have somebody to edit your software.
Yeah.
Start today. Mm-hmm. And whatever that means is start today. Yeah. And that's with anything. The best time to start is now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, is it going to be easy? No. Is there times you want to give up? Yes. You know? And there's times that we've had guests on call us 30 minutes before they're supposed to be there.
Yeah. And we're like,
hey, I can't make it. We're like,
oh, I can't. I don't know. Yeah.
And it was so easy for us to say, okay, we're not doing this today.
Yeah.
But we just started making phone calls. We started just figuring things out, man. And that is a microcosm to life.
And to have support, man. The support we have from people that help us find the people that you know, and it means a lot to us, you know, like and like they, you know, like some of them that morning, like it's just like, and like somebody canceled on us, and then like the people like they'll shout out Nikki. I mean, like she literally will have somebody just like, hey, be here around 2. You know, we're like, dang, like you know, and it's
we never met these people.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's awesome.
And they're willing to come on and everything, man. And it's just things like that. Again, I don't know how these things. They just seem to always work out in our best interest.
Yeah.
Interests around.
That's how I know it's a vision from God.
Yeah.
Because literally everything we've dealt with and stuff like that, it always manages to work itself out and like brings us to people that like we're like, whoa, you know, it's crazy. Like just a story that you needed to hear. You know, we all struggle from the day to, and it's like, dang, I really needed to hear that, what they just said.
Yeah.
Like, I do, you know? It's not us just interviewing people. Like, we do it because we need it.
Yeah.
Not just because, like, oh, you know, and, like, we want it for the people that need it and want to try to do whatever they can to make their lives better. But that's not what we're here to do. We just want to give them hope.
Yeah,
that's good. That there is good people out there. There is good places you can go. There is, you know, you can find it. You just have sometimes you have to search for it,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just there.
You gotta search, man. And that's the thing is, things have not worked out how we've always wanted them to work out, but they work out. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
and
oh,
then you
well,
learn to
it's not how we wanted it to be, but it just, I don't know. As time and things kind of mold.
adapt.
Yeah.
You just learn to
Yeah.
adapt
Yeah.
with it. It's like, okay, roll with the punches. Like,
No.
it's not even that it's punches. It's just like, it's like you can plan everything in your head perfect, and it's never gonna be like that.
Yeah.
So get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure, man. It's never works out perfect, and honestly, if it did, I mean, a lot of times stuff that you've heard before, I'm sure, like anything worth having is worth working hard for, right? I mean,
Oh
like
yeah.
stuff that just works out perfect every single time, man. There's very little growth in that. I mean, if everything was just bliss and easy, and you didn't have to put forth effort for anything, then and it would be meaningless.
Meaningless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mean-
In the great words of Reverend Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent.
Shut up, $50.
Shut up, Billy. And shout
Yeah.
shout out Uptime. You always keep me up. Shut up.
He said, what is it? Sunny skies wouldn't be pretty if it wasn't for rain or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's something along those lines. But yeah, man, it's true, man. Like if you don't have those like hiccups in life, those ups and downs, then the downs aren't, or the ups aren't as special without the downs, right? So no, that's great, man. That's see those things for growth opportunity and not as just hiccups and problems, because you know what, had that person not canceled, you wouldn't have got the great story that you got from the
Dude,
next
for
person.
real.
Right?
We met somebody through that person that put us. It was just
Dude,
how this
most of
went.
them came to our graduation.
Yeah,
Yes.
Like
yeah, that's
there's
awesome.
there's a lot of people we interviewed that were there.
That
Yeah.
were at
It
the
was really
graduation.
cool to see. I was like,
Yeah.
dang, like
Man, there's people on the other side of that camera right now that for what you guys are doing, that are putting that needle down and going and getting help.
Yeah.
That are deciding that suicide's not the only way out.
yeah.
That are deciding that I want more to my life than this every day of just garbage.
Hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell,
This
dude.
waking up and just being miserable and just living for the moment and barely doing that, you know. So man, what you guys are doing is so awesome, and
We appreciate that.
man, this is a huge inspiration to me. I'm
Yeah, man.
blessed to be here and be a part of this,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, dog. Thank you, brother.
You guys
Yeah.
are awesome.
Yeah, man. Was there anything, man? You want to plug anything? You want to say anything to kind of close, man? I don't have nothing else.
I love to pray for you guys and pray
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, man.
I think that what you guys are doing is just absolutely fantastic, and I just want to pray that God blesses it.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely,
All right.
man.
Lord, we love you and we thank you so much for all it is that you do, God. We thank you for the opportunity to meet Chris and Chase, God, and just this has been such a blessing for me, Lord, to be able to meet these people and see that their love and their heart for people that are going through similar struggles, that have been through similar struggles, and bringing a community of people together, Lord, over the internet, Lord, to be able to reach just a group of people that hurt, God. The same thing that Jesus did when he walked this earth, Lord, is he went around and he found just hurt, lost people who just felt like this is the end and there's nothing else left to do, God. And he loved them and he showed them a better way out, Lord. And Chase and Chris, God, they have this heart, Lord, to reach those same people and to show them that this is not the end. This is not how you have to live. This is not the story of your life that this is not the last chapter, but you can step out of this. You can live a normal life. You can be happy and peaceful and joyful, God. And I pray that you will bless them, bless their podcast, bless the people that are watching, the people that come on to hear, Lord. Pray that you speak through them to be able to encourage people, bring them out of addiction, bring them out of the darkness of just unhealthy mental states, God, and that you will just give these people just peace and joy and bring people to you through this. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, brother.
Hey, guys, appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. show Chris some love, guys. Show him some love. Give him a shout out. Like, subscribe, man, and tune in, man. We love y'all. Thank y'all.
Peace.